Hey there, today I want to talk to you about strategies of resistance. And I saw this list of several things that was attributed to Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. Now, I don't want to spread fake news, so I don't know if it was actually said by her or not. But I do want to talk about these 10 things because I think they're really important. I think they're actually very worthy. So the first one is don't use his name ever. 45 will do, is the way it was written. Now, the reason I see for this is we want to make this, we want to depersonalize this. This is not about one person. This is not about one personality. This is about a movement. This is about a bunch of people. I'm going to talk in a future video. It's not as many people as we might be led to believe, but it's not about one person. So let's not give that energy to this particular person who likes to be mentioned all the time. And so let's try to avoid using the name as much as possible. Remember again that this is a regime. This is not a person acting alone. This is the symptom of a problem that's been in America for a very, very long time. This is a person who was supported by corporations, by billionaires, by special interests, people who want to have this separation, this division. Frankly, our enemies like Russia and China and Iran, they kind of like this where we are right now. They like the separation, so let's not feed into that, and let's not make this about one person, though. Let's remember that we need to go after this entire regime. Don't argue with those who support him. Now, for 8 years, I have tried to reason with people. I've tried to use logic. I've tried to use facts to bring people over to our side to see how dangerous this person is. And again, this it's a cult that we're talking about. So let's not argue with those who support him. There's no point in arguing with people who are in cults. They have to come to these conclusions on their own. So as things unfold, let's talk about the policies. Let's talk about the facts on the ground, but let's not argue with those who support him. Again, let's focus on his policies. As easy as it is to focus on his mental state, it doesn't do us any good. So let's not do that. Let's focus on the policies. So speaking of that, as I'm recording this right now, they're making their picks for the cabinet, and there's a series of crazies. Got Elon Musk and Ramaswamy in like unpaid roles. You got Tulsi Gabbard, who should not get a security clearance, let alone be in head of security. You got Pete Hudsteth, or whatever the dude's name is, that he put up for Secretary of Defense, another accused sexual offender. You've got Matt Gaetz, a confused sexual offender for Attorney General, who's not qualified to be Attorney General, if even he weren't a sexual offender. So let's focus on those things. As we see mass deportations probably happen, as he uses the military for that, let's again focus on those policies and how they're not good for America. Let's try as much as possible to keep our message positive, particularly amongst ourselves. I say come together with people who are like-minded. I'm doing that a lot more. I'm actually leading some support groups for people post-election where we're coming together and we're talking about not just our grief, not just our anger, not just our shock, but what we can do going forward and what we've still got that is positive. For example, we need to focus on, I think we have some moderate Republicans still left. Hopefully in the Senate, we saw John Thune was elected for the Senate Majority Leader. I think that's a positive sign. We've seen rumblings of pushback against some of these nominees. We'll see if they actually have the guts to stand up and do it. And when they vote, we have to raise their hand. But let's focus on what's positive. And I'll talk more about that later because there's some really good things I think that are going to happen. No more helpless, hopeless talk. When we're in grief, and a lot of us are in grief, we're in shock, we're in awe, it's really easy and natural to focus on the negative and how bad things are. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things are going to get worse before they get better. But we're not helpless. We're not hopeless. We do have ways forward. We have strategies. We've been in worse situations. We can come back from this. We can come back stronger from this. So let's focus on that. Support artists and support the arts. I am a big fan of music. I've been listening to a lot of inspirational music lately. I listen to angry music when I'm angry. I listen to sad music when I'm sad. But I also put together a playlist of just really uplifting songs about defiance, about who we are, how strong we are, how we're going to bounce back. I put together a playlist. If you're interested, let me know. I'll be happy to send it to you. I've been listening to that over and over again. The artist a lot of times will lead the way. We saw them come out for Kamala during the election. So let's support them as they support us. Be careful not to spread fake news. There's a lot of fake news out there. It's really tempting, especially the more salacious it is, just to hit the forward button or hit the share button on Facebook. Let's be careful with that. We do have people inside and outside this country who are deliberately trying to divide us. And one of the ways to do that is with fake news. We've seen how effective that can be. So we don't want to use that as a tactic, though. We want to spread the truth. So fact check things if you can. And if you don't fact check them, like for example, I said I think this list was put together by Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. I don't know if that's true. I saw it on a meme, but I'm spreading the points because I know the points are true. Take care of yourself. I mentioned earlier, I'm in community with people who are like-minded. We're meeting weekly to support each other. Make sure you do that. Make sure you're doing. I have a thing I do every day called GEMS. It's for gratitude, exercise, meditation, and sleep. These are things I do not just when I'm stressed, I do all the time so I don't get stressed. And it's really helped me to get through this as we're going through right now. My perspective, my moods are still up and down, of course, but my perspective, I can bounce back quicker from the lows that we sometimes reach. So it's important to take care of yourself and to surround yourself with like-minded people. It's okay. Let's resist. I heard some spiritual leaders saying, resist nothing, which I call spiritual bypassing. Yes, we're going to be okay. Yes, everything will be okay in the end. As John Lennon said, everything will be okay in the end. If everything's not okay, it's not the end. But that doesn't mean that we don't fight against things that are not right, that we don't fight against injustice. It doesn't mean that we don't acknowledge that things can be really bad right now. But as we resist, we want to resist reasonably, peacefully. We don't want to throw fuel on the fire. We don't want to stoke up fear. We don't want to give them images of people committing violent acts and saying, see, we told you these people are violent. This is why we need the military to put them down. We don't want to play into that. So we want to resist through peaceful protest. We want to resist through coming together. We want to resist through putting pressure on Congress. There's always an election coming up. In 2 years, everybody in the House will run for their seat again. In 2 years, a third of the senators will run again. We want to focus on the people that we can influence in the Congress. We want to do all the things. We want to focus on the media, making sure the message gets out there. So let's resist in ways that are positive and productive. And let's talk about the administration of the Republicans, going back again to number one. Let's not make this personal about one person. And this is a way, it's a strategy of saying, again, holding those people accountable. We can talk about MAGA, but I really like to talk about the Republicans and pinning this on Republicans, the Republicans that are in Congress that need to run for their seats again, the Republicans at the local level. We want to pin these destructive policies on them and make them accountable for them. So hopefully they'll stand up a little bit with us. So that was it for today. I wanted to go over these things with you really quickly to give you some strategies to how we can deal with this going forward. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. If you want that playlist I mentioned, comment below, and I'll see if I can link to it. I don't know if I can on YouTube, but I'll be happy to share it with you if you want to send me by an email or anything. Have a great day. Let's hang in there, and I'll talk to you soon.